Hello my dear students. Today we are going to learn Standard 9 Subject Geography Chapter 1st Distributional Maps. Introductions. Students, you have studied district, state and country maps in the earlier classes there. The main aim of the map is to show the location of a place and distribution of variables. Maps are prepared with special themes. I repeat, maps which are prepared with special themes, it's called thematic maps. Through these maps, distribution of various variables in a region is shown. For example, temperatures, rainfall, population, etc. We can show these variables by thematic maps. And which are the thematic maps? Thematic maps which are prepared for a specific theme. These maps are useful to explain the distribution of variables in the region. With a specific region, we have to show the variables. We can use this map. To draw distributional maps, we need the statistical data of variables. We have to use statistical data for these distributional maps. Distribution can be shown in three ways. Students, which distribution we are going to show? We have three ways. First one, dot method. Second, chlorophet method. And third one, isoplate method. Now we are going to learn these three methods. First method, we are see in details. A dot map is prepared using statistical data. Students, when we are going to prepare the dot maps, we have a statistical data used to prepare this map. While preparing dot maps, only data gathered through counting is used. Dear students, when we are going to draw this map, we need the data, and the data gathered by only counting. Then the way a variable is distributed throughout the region. The dots are used to show its distribution on maps. This is dot method, so we have to put a dot to particular regions there. For example, population of regions, the distribution of cattle. When we are going to show the population, then we have to dot and put a proper region there. To show distribution through dot method, the value of a dot has to be determined. When we are going to show the population, then value of the dot should be determined there. To do that, the lowest and the highest value of given variable in a region are taken into consideration. Students, when we are going to draw this map, we have considered the value. Which value? Which is the lowest and which is the highest. So, we have to consider lowest value and highest value when we are making the dot method maps. Accordingly, the number of dots are determined. Then we need to consider the size of dot, the density of variable and the scale of map. Dear students, when we are going to prepare this map, we have considered some things, which are, we need to consider the size of dots. Which size we are going to use, we have to consider it. Then density of variable. how density is there of variables, we have to consider it. And then the scale, we know the scale, we put the scale on the map. So the scale on the map also we have considered when we are going to prepare like this map. The number of dots to be given for the value of variable in each sub-administrative unit needs to be decided first. When we are going to prepare this map, the sub-administrative unit needs to be decided first. The number of dots to be given, we know that the number of dots we give to the map. Then which is the sub-administrative, each sub-administrative unit needs to be decided first. Precaution, which precaution we have to keep? The size of a dot should be uniform. Students, when we are going to prepare the dot method maps, the size of dot should be uniform. The distribution of physiography, water sources, transport system, etc. of a region should be considered while placing dots on a map. Students, we gather the information, we put a scale, but when we are going to put a dot on particular region, then we have to consider the water sources. Which are the water sources? Where are the water sources? Then transport system. How transport system is the particular regions, and physiography. How that particular regions physiography is there. So all these things we have to consider when we have to put a dot on that particular map. That water sources, then transport system and physiography. It is must consider when we have to put the dots. Then third precaution, while showing population distribution, rural population is shown by dots and circles are used to show urban population. Students, when we are going to show the populations, we know that populations are two types are there, urban population and rural population. Then how can we show it? So to be considered that rural population shown by dot and urban population shown by circle. I repeat, urban population shown by circle, and dot should be used to rural population. Students, dot method is most suitable for the variable which is freely scattered across the region. We know that we use this method to scattered region is there, and that's why we can use the dot method. Now second method is there, Isoplate method. In this map, data regarding various geographical variables is shown by shades or tints of various color. Previous method will show that the dotted maps was there, and now Isoplate method, it used the tint or shades to show the information. The data used for different variable is often through various processes such as measurement and surveying. Students, we collect data for this map by surveying. Last method we saw that data collected by counting, but now here in Isoplate method we have to survey or measurement to collect the data. In this method, only one value is given to one sub-administrative unit in a region. We have to consider the sub-administrative unit and for that only one value should be given for this sub-administrative. The smallest and the largest value of given data of variable are taken into consideration. Students, when we are going to prepare this type of method, we have to consider the smallest value and the largest value. We have to consider it. After that, 5 to 7 classes are to made. Each class is assigned a tint of the same color or black and white pattern. Students, when we are going to make 5 to 7 classes there, and each class have to put a tint or a same color or black and white pattern which you have used need there. The shades of patterns become darker with the increasing values of given variables and are drawn accordingly on the map in the given classification. We know that when we are going to put these shades there, the shade should be darkened rather than first. So there are 5 to 7 classes, and each class have the separate shade there for the darken by previous. So we have used color shades or a tint or a black and white pattern there. Third method is the Isoplate method. Students, you have seen counter maps and isomer maps in earlier classes. In 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, the maps are there. We saw every years at the various type of there. In there we saw the counter and isomer maps also. Now this one, Isopleth method. In this map, the distribution was shown with the help of lines showing equal value. Students, when we gathered the information and to show the pattern on the map there, we have to put the lines, and these lines shown the equal values there. In this map, the distribution was shown with the help of lines. When the distribution of a variable is continuous, the Isopleth method is then used to show its distribution. For example, altitude and temperature, rainfall also. Students, when we are distribute the variables, it is a continuous. Then the Isopleth method gives or used to show the distribution. For this map, we need to obtain the accurate data regarding the altitude, temperature or rainfall. Students, when we are going to show the rainfall, or when we are going to show the temperature, or when we are going to show the altitude, then we have the accurate data. Because of accuracy, we can tell the accurate information to the survivor or to the viewer. So we have the accurate data when we are going to draw the Isopleth method. It is assumed that the difference between the altitude or rainfall to places changes as a uniform rate. Students, we assume that when we are going to draw this type of map, then units are there, numbers are there, then changes at a uniform rate. We know that we need when we are going to show the change, then it should be uniform. The sub-administrative units are not taken into the consideration. Previous two methods we saw there, we have to consider sub-administrative unit. But now in this Isopleth method, we don't have considered this sub-administrative unit. statistical data belongs to the respective places. Which place, which region we are going to show, then the data, the statistical data, the accurate data should belong to that particular regions there. Such data is known as point related data. When we gathered it, it is a point related data. Values of the variables are written on map at their respective location. Suppose I want to show Mumbai and Thane or Panvel or something there. Then I consider the places, I consider the locations there, and then I have to put the information in that particular regions or the locations there. Value of the variables are written on map at their particular or respective locations. If the data for more places is available, mapping of the distribution can be done more accurately. Students, remember, if the data is available on various places, more places, then it should be accurate. We can make the map accurate, and the studying should be accurate. We can get the accurate information by this. When we get more data for the distribution map here. On the basis of this information, Isopleth maps are prepared using the following steps. Students, how to prepare the Isopleth maps? First step, by considering the highest and the lowest value of the variable, the class interval is decided to be draw the Isopleth map, which in turn decide. Students, the lowest and the highest class interval to decide first one. Considering the highest and lowest value to show this one. And so, when Isopleth maps, which in turns decide the difference between the lines. Lines are drawn for the decided intervals. Students, when we are going to draw the lines to particular regions, then we have decided to interval. Which intervals we have to put there. Then location with the same value are joined by the line. If there are various cities are there, then we have to join same numbers there, same values joined by the line. If I start from the Mumbai, then it should be end to the Thane, because Thane and Mumbai have a same values there. Following conclusions are drawn on the basis of maps prepared in a such way. We have to consider conclusions from there. First, if the lines are closer to each other, then the change in variable is steep. Student, consider that if the lines, we draw the lines there, and these lines are closer each other, then variables, then it's steep. The change in variable is steep. And if the lines are away from each other, then it's gentle. I repeat, when the lines are closer to each other, then variable is steep, and when the lines are away from each other, it should be gentle. Then we get an idea of the natural trend. By this Isopleth method, when we observe the map, we can get an idea of natural trend. How is the nature in that particular area? We can get idea by the observing this map. The distribution of variable with the help of this map. by this map which distribution should be we get, then by this observation we get the natures. How is there we observe by the study. Students, सांगली शिक्षण संस्था नावाने सुरू असलेल्या YouTube चॅनेलला सबस्क्राइब करा व त्याच्या शेजारी असणाऱ्या बेल आयकॉनवर क्लिक करा, म्हणजे पुढील व्हिडिओचे नोटिफिकेशन आपल्याला येत राहील.